Hello and welcome. I'm Krista Gibson, and this is Growing Older and Wiser. I have a question for you, and I think that you've probably been on the planet long enough that you already know the answer to this, but here we go. What if we don't live in a black and white world? What if the world we live in is more gray? What if it's more nuanced than what we've been led to believe? How would that change your life, and how has it changed your life? You know, the older we get and the more situations that we see in our lives, I think the more we begin to see that there's lots of layers to everything, whether it's the way somebody behaves, the way they talk, the way they think, maybe it's the way we see things. You know, we get to where we've had enough life experiences that we realize that roads are not always a straight shot. Frequently there's little tributaries, side roads, side visits, mountains you didn't expect. And so as we age and as we become wiser, I think that we do tend to realize that life is more of a maybe world. It's not left, it's not right, it's kind of maybe. And if we can get that mindset, oh my gosh, the pressure that takes off is immense. Now, you maybe have heard this story. It's not a long one. And I think I've even told it here before. See, I start to forget, but no, I think I did. Anyway, there's a story about this man who lives on his ranch or in his house with his son, and they have some horses. And the story goes that one day, the gate came open in the pasture, or the place where the horses were kept, and their two horses ran away during the night. And so they get up in the morning and they're looking for their horses, and no horses, and oh my gosh. And the neighbors come around and say, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? This is horrible. You've lost your horses. Without your horses, you can't work in the fields, you can't go into town. Oh, this is just a horrible thing that's happened to you. We're so sorry. And the old man looked at them and he said, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Just maybe. Well, within a few days, what happens? Not only did the horses come back, but they brought with them some wild horses who just followed them right into the enclosure. The son was able to run out there, close the gate, and wow, instead of just having a couple of horses, now they had quite a few horses. And the neighbors came over and they said, how wonderful this is. Oh my gosh, you are so lucky. Look at all the horses you have now. This is fabulous. To which the old man, of course, said, maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. Well, the son is out there and he's working with these new horses, and they're wild. So, he's training them to take a saddle and to work with him, and he's, trying to domesticate them as best he can. And while he's doing this, guess what? He falls off a horse. He breaks his leg. And the neighbors come over and they're like, oh my gosh, we are so sorry that happened to you. What are you going to do now? Your son can't work in the fields. He can't help with the horses. It's just terrible. What misfortune has fallen on you? To which, of course, the old man said, maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. Well, don't you know, within a few days, the army comes by and they're recruiting young men to go fight on this big fight that they're all going to go on. Well, they took one look at the son with a broken leg. He can't fight, right? So they told the old man, sorry, we can't take your son. He can't join us in the fight. And off they went. To which the neighbors came over and said, what good fortune. Your son didn't have to go fight in the army. You are so lucky. And you know what the old man said? Maybe yes, maybe no. So the wisdom of that story is the old man was wise enough to realize that he couldn't really judge the results of what was happening. In each situation, maybe it was good and maybe it was not so good. His wisdom was in being able to say, maybe yes, maybe no. I want to talk about our manifesting, because I think so many of us, in your life, in my life, we decide we want to manifest something and we work really hard with, the affirmations and visualizations and whatnot. And then the manifesting doesn't happen the way we wanted it to. Maybe it doesn't happen at all, or it's really convoluted. And so many times the temptation is to fall into the, oh, woe is me. I needed to manifest this job or this marriage or this money or whatever, and I didn't, and gee, I'm a bad manifester. To which I would want to say to you at this point, say, maybe yes, maybe no. Because if you kind of hang there and wait a while, you will see how this all plays out, and perhaps, and I think you've already learned this in your life, that what you thought you wanted wasn't the best thing for you. It was not going to take you where you really, really wanted to go. You thought it would, but there was something much better in store for you. And so what I'd like to say is to live more in a maybe world and allow yourself to approach life with more of a sense of wonder than with a sense of hope. Instead of hoping this will happen, have a sense of, well, I wonder what's going to happen. And then see life as an adventure and learn from that adventure. And again, you've been around long enough by now that you know life is an adventure. That's what it is. We get to call it that if we want to, or we can call it something else and be miserable. I prefer to say life is an adventure. I know it's not always easy to do that, but when I can live with that, oh my gosh, life is so much better. Here's a little thing for you about taking things as they come. And this is from Susan James, who says, don't wish for it to happen. Don't wish for it not to happen. Just watch it happen. Let the wonder of life unfold. Let me say that again. Don't wish for it to happen. Don't wish for it not to happen. Just watch it happen and let the wonders of the world unfold. And that is one of the greatest wisdoms that we can gain as we age, is to be able to look at life with wonderment, not hope, not control, not like, oh, it's going to be my way or the highway, but with that sense of, yes, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to put one foot in front of the other. I'm going to try to accomplish, do, be whatever, is on my plate. But with all of that, I am going to allow life to unfold. I'm going to watch it happen. I'm going to allow it to happen and live in that state of wonderment, in that state of it being a maybe world. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. I wonder what's going to happen. See you next week.